When you think about tragic characters in Naruto, names like Itachi, Pain, or Sasuke probably come to mind first. These characters had devastating backstories and made terrible choices because of their suffering. But today I want to make the case that Kakashi Hatake is actually the most tragic character in the entire series. Not because he suffered one massive traumatic event, but because his entire life was a continuous accumulation of loss, guilt, and pain that would have broken almost anyone else. By the end of this video, you will understand why Kakashi's story is one of the most heartbreaking in anime, and why the fact that he survived it all and still chose to keep living and helping others makes him one of the strongest characters in the series. Let me start by laying out everything Kakashi lost and experienced before he even turned 30 years old. His mother died when he was very young, leaving him to be raised by his father alone. His father, Tsukumo Hatake, was known as the White Fang of the Leaf and was respected throughout the ninja world as one of the greatest shinobi alive. Then his father was disgraced, ostracized by the entire village, fell into depression, and committed suicide when Kakashi was just a child. Kakashi then watched his teammate Obito die and received the Sharingan as Obito's dying gift. Shortly after, he was forced to kill his other teammate Rin with his own hand using the very technique his father had taught him. Then his sensei Minato, the fourth Hokage who was like a father figure to him, died sealing the Nine Tails. Kakashi spent years in Ambu doing dark missions that further traumatized him. He lived in isolation, avoiding emotional connections, visiting a memorial stone every day to mourn his dead friends, and reading books to escape reality. This is not just tragedy. This is a lifetime of accumulated trauma that never stopped. Let's break down each of these events and understand the full weight of what Kakashi experienced. We will start with his father because this is where Kakashi's tragedy truly begins. Tsukumo Hatake was a legendary ninja. He was so powerful that even the legendary Sannin were said to pale in comparison to him. Kakashi grew up idolizing his father and training to follow in his footsteps. Everything seemed perfect for young Kakashi. He was a prodigy, his father was a hero, and he had a bright future ahead. Then everything fell apart. During a mission, Tsukumo made a choice. He had to decide between completing the mission objectives or saving his comrades. The shinobi rules said the mission came first. Abandoning a mission was one of the worst things a ninja could do. But Tsukumo chose to save his comrades instead. He chose human life over orders. In any just world, this would have been seen as the right choice. But the ninja world is not just. The village turned on Tsukumo. The very comrades he saved blamed him for the mission failure. The village elders condemned him. His reputation was destroyed overnight. People who had respected him now treated him with contempt. And Tsukumo, unable to handle the shame and ostracism, fell into a deep depression. Young Kakashi watched his father, his hero, become a shell of himself. Then one day, Tsukumo committed suicide, leaving Kakashi alone. Think about what this did to Kakashi as a child. His father chose death over living with dishonor. The message Kakashi received was that following your heart and saving your friends leads to disgrace and death. The village essentially killed his father through their cruelty, and nobody was held accountable. Kakashi was left alone with no family, no support system, just a memory of his father's broken body and the village's judgment. This childhood trauma shaped everything about Kakashi's early personality. He became cold and obsessed with following the rules. He rejected his father's choice. He told himself that his father was weak for prioritizing comrades over the mission. He built a wall around his heart and decided that emotions were a liability. He would be the perfect shinobi who never let feelings interfere with duty. This was how a traumatized child tried to make sense of his father's death. If his father had just followed the rules, if he had just been stronger and less emotional, he would still be alive. Kakashi became a chunin at age 6. He was a genius, cold and calculating, exactly what shinobi was supposed to be, but he was also deeply damaged and alone. Then he was placed on a team with Obito Uchiha and Rin Noira under the leadership of Minato Namikaze. This was supposed to be a fresh start, but for Kakashi, it was just the beginning of more pain. Obito was everything Kakashi was not. Obito was late emotional, cared deeply about his comrades, and openly said that people who abandoned their friends were worse than trash. This was a direct rejection of everything Kakashi had convinced himself to believe. Kakashi and Obito clashed constantly. Kakashi saw Obito as weak and sentimental. Obito saw Kakashi as cold and heartless. They were teammates but not friends. Then came the mission where everything changed. During the Third Great Ninja War, Kakashi's team was sent on a mission to destroy a bridge. Rin was captured by enemy ninja. Kakashi, now a jonin at age 12, insisted they continue the mission. Saving Rin would jeopardize the objective. The mission came first. This was what Kakashi had been taught. This was what he believed. But Obito refused. Obito chose to save Rin, even if it meant abandoning the mission. He told Kakashi that his father was a true hero, and that Kakashi was wrong to reject his father's choice. Kakashi eventually decided to help rescue Rin. But during the rescue, Obito was crushed by falling rocks while protecting Kakashi. Half of Obito's body was destroyed. He was dying and he knew it. In his final moments, Obito asked Rin to transplant his Sharingan eye into Kakashi's damaged eye socket. It was a gift. Obito's way of making sure he could still watch over his teammates even after death. Then the rocks buried Obito completely, and Kakashi had to leave his teammate's body behind. This moment destroyed everything Kakashi had built his identity around. Obito had been right. His father had been right. Comrades were more important than missions. But Kakashi only learned this lesson by watching another person he cared about die because of his mistakes. If Kakashi had agreed to rescue Rin immediately, maybe they would have had more time. Maybe Obito would not have died. This guilt would haunt Kakashi for the rest of his life. But the universe was not done with Kakashi yet. Shortly after Obito's death, Kakashi and Rin were attacked again. The enemy had sealed the three tails inside Rin and put her under a genjutsu that would force her to return to the village where the beast would be released, destroying Konoha. Rin realized what had been done to her. She knew she was a walking time bomb. She could not return to the village without causing massive destruction, so she made a choice. Rin ran in front of Kakashi's lightning blade as he was attacking an enemy. She impaled herself on Kakashi's jutsu, killing herself to protect the village. Kakashi killed Rin, not because he wanted to, not because he chose to, but Rin chose to die by his hand. The girl he had failed to protect from capture, the girl Obito died trying to save, died on Kakashi's own attack. The chakra blade his father had taught him went straight through her heart. Imagine the psychological damage of this moment. Kakashi had just learned that protecting comrades was the most important thing. He had just lost Obito because he had not prioritized his friends. And now Rin was dead, killed by his own hand, and there was nothing he could have done to prevent it. The enemy ninja, watching, even commented on how this would break Kakashi's mind. And it did. Kakashi awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan from the trauma of this event at the same moment Obito awakened his own Mangekyo far away. Kakashi passed out from the psychological shock. When he woke up, he was surrounded by enemy corpses that he had apparently killed while blacked out. He had no memory of what happened. This is a clear sign of severe psychological trauma. His mind literally could not process what had happened, so it shut down. From that point forward, Kakashi was fundamentally broken. He was 13 years old. He had watched his father commit suicide. He had watched his best friend get crushed to death. He had killed his other teammate with his own hands. Most people would not survive this mentally. Most people would either give up completely or go insane. Kakashi didn't either. Instead, he became even more of a perfect soldier. He joined ANBU, the Black Ops division of Konoha, and spent years doing the darkest missions the village had to offer. The ANBU years are not explored in detail in the main series, but we know enough to understand how damaging they were. ANBU operatives work in the shadows. They do assassinations, espionage, torture, and other missions that regular ninja cannot handle. They wear masks to hide their identities, which is symbolic of how they have to hide their humanity to do these jobs. Kakashi spent years in this organization, killing people, following orders, and burying his emotions deeper and deeper. During this time, his sensei Minato Namikaze became the fourth Hokage. Minato was the one positive relationship Kakashi had left. Minato understood Kakashi's pain. He had been there when Obito and Rin died. He had tried to help Kakashi process his grief. Minato represented hope that maybe things could get better. Then the Nine Tails attacked the village. Minato and his wife Kushina sacrificed their lives to seal the beast and save the village. Minato died, and Kakashi lost another person he cared about. At this point, Kakashi had lost everyone. His mother, his father, Obito, Rin, Minato, all dead. He was completely alone. He had no family. He had no close friends. Everyone he had ever cared about was gone. The survival guilt must have been overwhelming. Why did he get to live when everyone else died? Why was he still here when all these good people were taken? These are the questions that haunted Kakashi every single day. Kakashi developed a routine to cope with his pain. Every morning, he visited the memorial stone where the names of fallen Konoha shinobi were carved. Obito's name was there. Rin's name was there. He would stand in front of that stone and apologize to them. He would tell them about his day. He would promise to keep living for them. This became his daily ritual, a way to maintain a connection with the people he had lost. He also started reading the Make-Out Paradise novels by Jiraiya. These were romantic books, almost comedic in their content. People often joke about Kakashi being a pervert for reading these books in public. But think about what these books represented for him. They were an escape. They were a way to experience emotions and connections that he could not have in real life. They were safe because they were fiction. Kakashi could not handle real emotional intimacy because everyone he got close to died. But he could read about relationships and feel something without the risk of loss. Kakashi also started showing up late to everything and making excuses. He would say he got lost on the path of life, or that he was helping an old lady. These were lies, and everyone knew it. The real reason he was always late was that he was spending time at the memorial stone. He could not let go of the dead. He was stuck in the past, unable to move forward, going through the motions of living but not really alive. This is the Kakashi we meet at the beginning of Naruto, a man who has survived unimaginable trauma, but is not really living. He is just existing day after day, carrying the weight of all his losses. When he is assigned to be the leader of Team 7 with Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, it seems like just another mission. He does not expect it to mean anything. He has given up on forming real connections. But these three students would end up being what saved Kakashi's life. When Kakashi meets Team 7, he sees reflections of his past. Sasuke is like Kakashi himself was, consumed by revenge and anger after losing his family. Naruto is like Obito, loud and emotional, and insistent on protecting his comrades. Sakura is caught in the middle trying to hold the team together, like Rin was. Kakashi is essentially being forced to relive his own trauma through these students. At first, Kakashi keeps his distance emotionally. He teaches them techniques, but does not really open up. He is still trapped behind the walls he built to protect himself. But slowly, through teaching them, Kakashi starts to heal. When he teaches them about teamwork and tells them that those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash, he is finally accepting the lesson Obito tried to teach him. He is honoring his father's choice. He is admitting that he was wrong to prioritize missions over people. When Sasuke is willing to die to protect Naruto during the fight with Haku, Kakashi sees Obito's spirit in him. When Naruto refuses to give up on Sasuke even after Sasuke defects from the village, Kakashi sees the kind of loyalty he wished he could have shown. These students are teaching him how to live again. They are showing him that it is possible to care about people even when you know you might lose them. But Kakashi's healing process is not smooth. When Sasuke defects to join Orochimaru, Kakashi blames himself. He failed to stop another person he cared about from going down a dark path. He failed as a teacher, just like he failed as a teammate to Obito and Rin. The guilt comes rushing back. All the old wounds are reopened. For a while, Kakashi falls back into his depression, believing he is cursed to fail everyone who gets close to him. The turning point comes during the Fourth Great Ninja War, when Kakashi has to face Obito again. It is revealed that Obito did not actually die that day. He survived and was manipulated by Madara into becoming a villain. Obito became the masked man who orchestrated countless atrocities, including the Nine Tails attack that killed Minato. Everything Kakashi had been living with, all the guilt over Obito's death, was based on a lie. Obito was alive, but he had become the very thing they had fought against. Kakashi has to fight his former best friend. He has to confront the fact that Obito's turn to darkness was partially because of what happened to Rin. The guilt becomes even more complex. If Kakashi had been stronger, if he had protected Rin better, maybe Obito would not have lost hope and become a villain. The weight of responsibility feels crushing, but then something important happens. Kakashi does not give up on Obito. Even though Obito is now an enemy, even though he has killed thousands of people, Kakashi still sees his friend in there. He talks to Obito. He reminds him of who he used to be. He refuses to kill him even when he has a chance. This is Kakashi finally learning the full lesson. You do not abandon your comrades, even when they have lost their way. You keep trying to reach them. Eventually, Obito is reminded of his original dream and turns against Madara. In his final moments before death, Obito and Kakashi reconcile. Obito acknowledges that Kakashi was a better ninja than him because Kakashi never gave up on his humanity despite all the pain. He gives Kakashi both of his Sharingan eyes temporarily, allowing them to fight together one last time. When Obito finally dies for real, Kakashi is able to let go of some of his guilt. He did not fail Obito. Obito made his own choices. But in the end, their friendship was real and it mattered. After the war ends, Kakashi is chosen to become the 6th Hokage. This is significant because it represents Kakashi finally accepting that he has a purpose. He has spent so long believing he was cursed and that everyone around him would die. But now he is being trusted with the most important position in the village. He is being told that he matters, that his life has value, that he can make a difference. As Hokage, Kakashi works to build a better world. He helps establish peace with other villages. He supports the new generation of ninja. He ensures that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. In doing this work, Kakashi finds meaning in his suffering. All the people he lost would have wanted him to keep living and to make the world better. He honors their memory not by drowning in guilt, but by using what they taught him to help others. So why is Kakashi the most tragic character in Naruto? It is not because he suffered the single worst event. Other characters experienced terrible things. Itachi killed his entire clan. Sasuke lost his family. Gar was abused and isolated. Nagato watched his parents and best friend die. All of these are horrific. But what makes Kakashi's tragedy unique is the sustained accumulation of loss over his entire life, combined with the specific nature of his guilt. Kakashi did not just lose people. He lost them in ways that made him feel personally responsible. His father died because the village rejected the values Kakashi later learned were right. Obito died saving Kakashi during a mission Kakashi had initially refused to prioritize. Rin died by Kakashi's own hand. Minato died while Kakashi was not there to help. Every loss came with a layer of guilt and what-if scenarios that tortured Kakashi. Most tragic characters in fiction have 1 or 2 major trauma events. Kakashi had 5 major trauma events before age 20, and then spent over a decade in ANBU accumulating more trauma. His entire childhood and young adulthood were defined by death and loss. There was no break, no period of peace, just continuous suffering that he had to endure alone because he had no family or support system.